Hi, I'm Ronnie Nabi, and I'm going to present you guys with The Campbell Soup Cans by Andy Warhol. So before we get into the presentation, I'm going to give you guys a little overview. First, we're going to talk about the life and times of the author, so like how he grew up. Secondly, we're going to talk about the historical background and cultural context of the painting and how it came. Third, we're going to talk about publishing and the marketing history of the Campbell Soup Cans. Uh, then we're going to move into the setting and the importance of the work that he had produced. And then finally, we're going to tie back the whole thing, and then I'm going to give you guys a little opinion of mine on the painting. So, first off, the life of Andy Warhol. So, Andy began his life in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1928 and was the youngest of three children. Andy's parents were both from Slovakia and immigrated into the United States when he was a kid. His father being a construction worker and his mother being a tie dyer. Andy soon had learned that he had to work for the family, so he had found many jobs as a kid. He then went on to study pictorial design at Carnegie Mellon University. Um, After Andy's life, Andy had gone to the hospital on February 20th, 1987, and he was admitted with gallbladder. Something was wrong with his gallbladder. Soon after, a few days later, he had died from that, but not totally from his gallbladder, but from cardiac arrest. He had died at the age of 58. And while I was looking this up, a cool fun fact about Andy was Andy was shot at three times by a man. The first two shots didn't hit him, but the third one did wound him and hospitalize him for a short amount of time. So next we're going to move on to the historical background and cultural context of the cans. So most works Andy produced were of popular images of the time, hence the word pop art. Um, Andy began his works during the pop art era. This is when abstract art was initiated and modern pop culture and mass media were really big at the time. This had been his inspiration for creating the Campbell soup because many people had enjoyed that soup. Um, there's two different sides that go into why Andy had created the Campbell soup cans. One, people believe, was that it was just different from everything else and that no one created something like it, so he was going to be unique. Another reason was that he did really, really enjoy Campbell's soup, and it's told that he did enjoy one can of Campbell's soup every day, like he was in love with it. So next, we're going to move on to the publishing and marketing history of the Campbell soup cans. So, along with Campbell Soup, Andy and them created 92,000 limited edition cans, releasing in high-end stores such as Barney's. 15,000 of them going into the high-end stores, while the other 72,000 went into a special store from his birthplace. I believe it was a Target. Um, at first, surprisingly, Campbell's was considering to sue Andy for using the Campbell's soup cans as his own artwork, but then they had soon realized that the publicity brought more sales to them, and they thought that this can be that they can use Andy to their own advantage. Um, in the beginning of time, many of Andy's works are lost and they can't be found, but most of his works are recovered and are published by him primarily. So next we're going to move on to the setting of the pop art movement. So pop art was a movement that began in New York City. The reason for this is where many celebrities and many like artistic movements had originated from. Uh, Pop art is based on popular culture. That's where the word pop, meaning popular, comes from. As you can see to the right over here, uh, we have Marilyn Monroe. At the time, she was a very popular image to many people around the world. That was the reason why Andy had created the six silhouettes of Marilyn Monroe. Another reason for pop art originating is just because the capitalist market and just like many companies were paying artists to uh, create their product because they had saw how well Campbell's soup cans had done with Andy Warhol, so they just wanted to get the same effect. So now we have the conclusion where I'm gonna just tie back everything down. So Andy is considered the father of pop art in the United States. Originally, pop art was from New England, Britain, in that time, um, and many artists were trying to copy Andy Warhol's works, but no one could do it as well as he did because he was unique. Um, a cool thing, he earned the title as the largest museum featuring one artist. So there's one museum in New York that just features solely his works and his works only, which is pretty cool. Um, a cool fun fact too about it, I thought, was when Andy needed money, he had sold his Campbell soup can set for $600 to a another person. Soon later, he had bought back that collection for $1,200 from that person, and now it ended up being that whole set is now worth $17 million. Now I'm gonna give you guys my whole personal opinion about the about Andy Warhol and all his works. Um, I find it really cool how he has influenced future artists and the way that he shapes them and their way of thinking and of them creating designs. I think it was really cool. The use of vibrant colors really just came up to the people and like opened people's eyes. And it did honestly open gateways for many new art ways or for new artistic movements to come alive.